My name is Nichelle Addy, and I'm a speech therapist assistant at Greenville ISD, and I am currently using Amplio for my students K through fourth grade. Life before Amplio was come in, I would have already printed off packets of articulation materials, pick a book based on the grade level for students, come up with questions like WH questions, who, what, where, when, and why. I used to subscribe to a template called Ultimate SLP. It's really a good one, but then when the school introduced Amplio, I'm like, I can cancel my subscription. And I actually did. Then Amplio came along and I'm like, oh, there is stories there. I don't have to come up with the questions. There's articulation from, the medial, initial, final position. Like everything was there at my hand. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm in love. I love this program. I was excited. So I felt like I was taking days on days on days just to prep this material. And then it cut down the time in like hours, days, to say, in the morning when I get in, I can look at Amplio and just see what my kids are working on for that day and just assign assignments. And this will take me, an hour or even 30 minutes? Out of my 90 students, K through fourth grade, about 75 of them are actively using Amplio. But with the first through fourth graders, they already know, do I need to bring my Chromebook? Do I need my headphones? When they come in, there is about 6 of them. I have 2 kids working on R's, 1 kid working on L's, 1 kid working on multiple meaning words, the other one working on antonyms, and the other one working on synonyms. So, with Amplio, I'm like, how am I supposed to do this by myself? But Amplio opens that door to say, okay, Sam can be working on antonyms, Lisa could be working on, synonyms, and so forth. So since November 1st, I have used close to or about 3,000 exercises for my students K through fourth grade. Some of the exercises that I use is rev, tails, cartwheel, but one of my favorite is the tails. That's the one that has the stories. I really love the stories because with stories you can work on basically all the speech things you can think about. You can say, hey, what is this word for my Arctic kids, and have them try to pronounce it. We can talk about settings for those language kids. We can talk about sequencing. One of the stories that I like was the journey of a water drop. And it was talking about a water drop named Dewey. And even for my first graders, and I was like, what's the name of the water drop? And they were like, Dewey. I must say, there was a lot of reservations at first because I was like, speech? How do we do speech online? That was the first thing that came to my mind. But then afterwards, I was like, okay, this makes sense. This makes lots of sense. Like, here's the data. Literally, I was writing a progress note the other day and I'm like, can this kid say S? I don't even remember. And I literally went to Amplio, clicked on their name, clicked on the sound, and I'm like, yeah, the S's are S-ing, and I'm like, I was able to grade it to say this is where they're at and use that data to put into my progress note. So I didn't know it would benefit my kids this much as far as them to seeing what they learn. Because the only time you can know how far a kid has progressed is basically when you do an assessment. And assessments are usually every 2 to 3 years, depending on when they last were tested. So it's like seeing the progress on Amplio is definite to say, okay, if an ARD comes up within that 2 to 3 year span, I don't think they need speech anymore. And they're like, oh, okay, cool. And here's the data. This is the data that's showing that they're mastering their WH questions. They understand antonyms and synonyms. They don't have any articulation error. So I feel like he's scoring 90s on the WH questions. And I'm like, that's what he's here for. So when his assessment did come up, it was like, he didn't qualify anymore. And I'm like, wow. So that was something unexpected that I didn't expect.